Hi, Ghost Recaps here. Today we will be going through a drama, thriller movie from 2020. Named, Escape from Pretoria. There will be spoilers ahead in this video, so chill out and enjoy. The movie is based on a true story. In 1948, South Africa had an institutionalized racial discrimination regime known as apartheid. After facing a lot of suffering, finally, in 1979, the black community started rioting for their rights and established the African National Party, or ANP, as a movement. The aim was to make Africa a democratic country where every human being is considered equal. Two men named Tim and Stephen joined the ANP to fight for the rights of the black community. Both of them used to create small explosions at many places in the city where leaflets were scattered. They are part of apartheid, spreading the word that freedom and equality for all races must be fought for at all costs. Unfortunately, while fleeing the scene, both of them were caught and put on trial. The judge announces the sentence. Tim is sentenced to 12 years, as he is the main bomb maker, and Stephen is sentenced to 8 years as an accomplice. While coming out of the court, Stephen tries to escape but fails. Now both of them are sent to a prison named Pretoria, which was a white people's prison, and the rules and regulations there were very strict. The warden of the prison, Captain Schneppel, receives them with disgust, as he considers them traitors. He hands them over to Mongo, a very strict prison officer. Whoever tells them the rules and regulations of the jail and then takes them towards his cell. There were many types of doors in between, the keys of which were with the Mongo. The Tim was watching all the doors carefully because he was not going to stay here for 12 years. Both of them are locked in their respective rooms, and the good thing was that both of their rooms were nearby. They could communicate by knocking on the wall. The next day, the Tim meets a prisoner named Dennis, who was serving a life sentence in this prison. Like the team, he also tried to raise his voice against apartheid, and since then he has been in jail. He tells the Tim to never sit with the blue shirt people because they is a murderer and a rapist, and we gray shirt people are also different, who are in jail for some other crime. Dennis asks them about their punishment. Stefan confidently tells her how long they have been sentenced to, but they are not going to be here that long. Later, while exercising, Dennis tells the Tim and Stefan everything about the prison's layout, the height of the walls, the searchlights, and the guards, and advises them against trying to escape. Then a French prisoner named Leonard arrives, who tells them that Dennis always breaks the courage of anyone who talks about escaping. In fact, several people tried to escape, but all were caught. He tells them that escape is possible here, and if the Tim and Stephen come up with a plan, he is with Tim. Captain Schneppel sees them talking and becomes suspicious of them. 23 days had passed like this. The Tim used to look at the keyhole of the grill gate in his cell with a lighted matchstick every night. Hundreds of ideas were running through his mind. One night, he looked closely at the lock of the chamber. Uses paper to measure the hole and check its length. And an idea comes to his mind. He wants to make wooden keys to open the doors. The next day, he shares this idea with Stephen and Leonard in the shower room. Leonard thinks the idea of a wooden key is pointless, as keys can break and they would need wood to make them, but Stephen and Tim are convinced it can work. And as far as wood is concerned, they will get it from the workshop. Putting the plan into action, Leonard causes a ruckus in the cafeteria to get Mongo's attention, giving Tim a chance to take a closer look at the shape of the keys. He takes every opportunity to take a look at the key, whether during training or while counting them, until the shape of the key is ingrained in his mind. 74th day. Tim manages to hide sandpaper and wood from the workshop in his thermos. Mongo checks the prisoner's thermoses one by one. Tim also arrives, but Mongo does not find anything suspicious. That night, Tim made the key to the gridlock, and now he was going to try it. Tim inserted the key into the lock and slowly turned it. The gear turned and opened the door. However, the front door was made of 3-inch thick metal, and there was no keyhole inside the cell. The next day, Tim tells Stephen and Leonard that they must make another key and also find a way to open the panel from the outside. After 100 days, the Tim finally made the metal door key, and now it was time to test it. While mopping the hallway, Leonard stands guard at the door, and Tim puts the key in the lock. It's not as smooth as the first one, so he cut it a little and successfully closed the door. But there is a small problem. He cannot open the door and even breaks the key, leaving a piece stuck inside. Leonard signals that a guard is coming. In a tense situation, Tim manages to remove part of the piece before the guards arrive. However, he could not push back the lockout. When it's time to lock in, Mongo notices the lock sticking but pays no further attention to it and closes the door. 142nd day. They couldn't see any way out, as they had made a key for the metal door, but the door could only be opened from outside. Leonard suggests removing the key from the window using a thread, but it is no use as they cannot turn it. While all three of them are talking, Mongo comes there and suspiciously asks them what are they talking about. Leonard says that we are just doing our job. After he leaves, Stephen gets an idea after looking at the length of the broom. He could use it to open the metal door while in the cell, but the length of the broom was not enough. Tim sees a turning machine while working in the workshop, is impressed by it, and successfully develops a system that he attaches to a broom. That night, he tries to open the door by attaching a key, and he succeeds in opening the door from inside. However, while taking out the key, he accidentally drops it, which leaves him struggling to pick it back up. The next morning, he tells Stephen and Leonard that he managed to open the door. Afraid of being caught, they bury the wooden keys in a jar. Mongo sees them together and approaches Tim. He asks him what they were doing, and Tim quickly explains that Stephen was simply picking up his yard trash. Dennis tells Tim that whatever you are doing, be careful because if you are caught while trying to escape, 25 years will be added to your sentence. And if they are lucky, because most of the prisoners are shot in the head, he tells her that the gunman guarding the wall is very crazy. He has shot many children, and he enjoys this work, that's why he has been posted here. One night, Tim comes out of his cell, and after checking the ladder, he informs the others that if they can open one door, they can open all the other doors, and thus they can get out of prison. 206th day. Tim has made a friend of a worker. Through the window, he asks her to get the necessary roadmap and other tasks. At breakfast, worker gives him pointers on things, and Mongo pays attention to him. Tim gets the essentials in exchange for some soap and cigarettes. Mongo comes to Tim's cell to give him his new glasses that he ordered. That night, she and Leonard make dummies on their beds and slip out of the closet. They carefully descend the stairs and proceed to open the next door to try the keys. Just then, the guard arrives to check all the rooms, so the team and Stephen hide in a cupboard. As the guard climbs the stairs, they sneak out, cross the admin room, and try their keys on the next door, opening them with success. Stephen signals with a cough that the guard is finishing his patrol and will be back soon. They manage to lock the door and hide in the cupboard as the guard descends the stairs. After he leaves, the team and Stefan return to their cell, and that night the team disassembles the keys and places the parts in a cup. The next morning, before he wakes up, Mongo and Captain Schneppel arrive, who were angry at the time. Since the team hasn't come out of the cell even after the bell has rung, they are sent out, and they search everyone's cells for clues. Tim is called back, and the cup containing his toothbrush falls over, and the key pieces fall out. Captain Schneppel picks up one of them and asks what it is. Tim tremblingly explains that he made it to hold a photo of his parents. Schneppel is convinced that Tim is hiding something and vows to find out. Tim was so frightened by this incident that he decided to hide the keys in the library, and in a bucket full of detergent instead of hiding them in the cell. For several nights, they went out and made new keys to escape. They have made 39 keys for 15 different doors. The day is 404. Tim gets an infection in his teeth, and the nurse says he needs to be taken to the clinic. When Mongo takes him to the clinic, Tim realizes that there is a button to open the automatic door. He also sees that a new guard tower is being built. It's Christmas Eve, and everything is ready. Tim, Stephen, and Leonard present their plan to Dennis and the other prisoners. Dennis and the others argue that even if they get out, they have nowhere to go. The group fails to convince anyone to join them in their escape. Dennis says, "We don't want to run away, but we will definitely help you run away." He hides the money and toothpaste and gives it to the team. Captain Schneppel, who strongly suspects something is brewing, turns everything in Tim's closet upside down in frustration but finds nothing. In the evening, after all the officers have left, Tim opens his cell door, then lets out Stephen and Leonard. Tim offers Dennis one last chance to join them, but he refuses. They collect the keys, which are hidden in different areas of the prison, and they change their clothes. The good thing is that the guard was in the toilet. The trio descends the stairs, and when they hear footsteps, they hide in the cupboard. They had no idea that the guard was coming near the cupboard to put the plunger back. Just in time, Dennis breaks a bulb in his closet, causing a short circuit. He calls the guard and distracts him. The guard starts going towards the cell while the three of them were opening the doors and moving forward. The three reached the automatic door, which could only be opened from the admin room. However, the guard was busy changing the bulb, so Leonard goes back and successfully opens the door. Finally, they reach the last door, from where they can see the road. They hug each other and try to open the last door. Then they realize that none of their keys are working. Their dreams are shattered in an instant, and Tim says they have to go back. They can't go back. Leonard notices that the door frame is made of wood, and using a screwdriver and chisel, he tries to open the door. This made a lot of noise, but luckily no one paid attention. They managed to break it, and all three of them came out of the prison grounds, avoiding the eyes of the sniper. Although Mongo was present there, his attention was somewhere else. As soon as they went a short distance from the jail, all three of them started running away and caught a taxi. They laugh happily. They can't believe he succeeded. The next morning, Mongo learns that Tim, Stephen, and Leonard have gone missing. Shocked and angry, he sounds the alarm, and all the prisoners laugh. Tim, Stephen, and Leonard travel through Mozambique and Tanzania to London, where they continue the fight against apartheid. Dennis was finally released after 5 years in 1985. Thanks for watching this video, stay safe and enjoy your day.